episode 100. My name is Krista and I'm your host. It's January 1st, 2025. Happy New Year, friend. I have to tell you, I did not plan for my 100th episode to air today. That's a total perfect coincidence. I know, obviously, last week I teased that this is going to be the 100th episode, but when I was planning out my content a year ago, I had no clue that 52 episodes later that the 100th episode would air today. So this 100th episode is a milestone I'm exceptionally proud of. Any fellow podcaster out there knows cranking consistent episodes out can be tough, whether you are doing them monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, daily. Lord help you. I don't know how some of y'all do it, but this has been so fun and so worth it. It's brought some of the most lovely people into my life, and I'm so excited for where the next 100 episodes are going to take us. Given that today's episode is such a substantial marker in my podcasting journey, we're going to look back on my top 5 episodes, share just a quick sneak peek of those, but then I'm going to encourage you to go back and listen to those full episodes. They'll all be linked in the episode description and the show notes, whichever is easiest for you for ease. But before we get into that, I do have a few quick housekeeping notes to share with you. First, this is where I would normally go through my quick intro, share what this podcast is all about, why I started it. But moving forward, I am changing this up. If this is your first time here, feel free to take a quick pause, scroll back to wherever you're listening from, and take a listen to the trailer for this podcast. You can also scroll back to literally any of the previous 99 episodes and hear more about what Secret Mom Hacks is all about. But moving forward, at this point, we're diving right into the meat of today's show. Item number 2 before we jump in. For the last 20 months or so, I've consistently released episodes weekly, and not a single week have I missed. Come rain or shine, sickness and health, every single week. For almost 2 years, Secret Mom Hacks has put out a new show. For 2025, starting with today's episode, new episodes will be released every other week. So after today's show, the next drop on your feed from Secret Mom Hacks will be January 15th and then January 29th and so on. You are so important to me, and I want to make sure I'm delivering you the best, most high quality content. So, in order to do that, I'm releasing fewer episodes, allowing myself to spend a little more time with each one, making sure it's the best it can be. That's why it's so important that wherever you're tuning in from, make sure you hit that follow or subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. Or you can also head over to secretmomhacks.com, click that big subscribe button to enter your email address so every new episode is delivered straight to your inbox. Okay, on to Secret Mom Hacks top 5 episodes. Top episode number 5 is called Difficulty Breastfeeding, Nursing Tips for First-Time Moms. This was episode number 3. It was released back on November 23rd, 2021. This is a very deep and personal episode to me because I had such a hard time getting going on the breastfeeding journey. What seemed so natural, second nature, for a lot of babies and first-time moms is not. And there are so many variables that come into play when it comes to getting up and running with breastfeeding. So I highly encourage you, go check out that episode number 3, to hear all about my journey in breastfeeding, the obstacles I faced, and some of the tools and tricks and resources that helped me get going with breastfeeding my daughter. My number 4 most downloaded episode is Spotting Signs of a Narcissistic Husband, Emotional Abuse is Real, Crossover Part 1. This episode was released June 7th of earlier this year. This was one of several crossover episodes I did with my friend and fellow podcast host, Serene leads. Now, she's the host of Emotional Abuse is Real. I know she has a new podcast up and coming in the works. So stay tuned for more info there. You can learn more about all of the great things Serene is up to if you go to sereneleadsrights.com. I cannot wait to see what Serene has on the horizon with her podcast and her podcasting journey. But I had such a blast with this pod swap. Now, I made a few appearances on her podcast, and she made several appearances on mine as well. You can go back and listen to episode 77, where we talked about struggles with breastfeeding. You can go back and listen to episode 80 here on Secret Mom Hacks, where we talked about neurodivergent parenting with Serene. Check out episode 86, where we talked about self-care for moms and the importance of postpartum doula research. And also make sure you check out episode 90, where we talked about flexible jobs for moms, finding work-life balance with remote and freelance gigs. I love these conversations with Serene, and I am forever grateful for the opportunity she gave me to share more about my divorce story and the second life that my ex-husband was living and raising an infant daughter throughout this process as well. Like I said, you can listen to the bonus episode here on Secret Mom Hacks that I released June 7th. You can also check out the original airings of my interview on the Emotional Abuse is Real over on her podcast that was released June 5th. That was part 1, and June 12th, part 2 over on the Emotional Abuse is Real feed wherever you listen to podcasts. The number 3 most downloaded episode on Secret Mom Hacks is The Case for Calmer Parenting and the Effects of Angry Parents on Children. That is episode 27. And on this episode, I share 10 calming affirmations. I talk about the importance of deep breaths and thinking about the parent you want your child to remember. The effects that our big emotions as adults and parents can have on our children. So definitely go back, listen to episode 27 in full if you haven't already. I don't know about you, but going into this new year, I definitely want to continue being intentional with keeping my emotions under control. I don't want to be remembered as an angry parent. I want to be remembered as a calm, loving parent that helped my child navigate her big emotions. My second most downloaded episode here on Secret Mom Hacks is How to Turn a Breech Baby, Acupuncture, Moxibustion, Chiropractic, and more. This is episode number 16. Now, if you happen to listen to my birth story part 1, which is episode 1 of this podcast, I talked about my obstacles leading up to the birth of my daughter, one of which was her being breech. And I did successfully flip her. It was not a cephalic inversion or whatever that is, where you go into the hospital and the doctor like manually turns the baby. No. Episode 16 goes through all of the tactics I employed to encourage my daughter to turn herself and get herself head down. Because for those of you who don't know, rewind just a minute, to have a vaginal birth, it's really important the baby's head be down. So hers was not at multiple times during the pregnancy. So especially near the end, it's really important that baby's head is down. And so I employed a handful of strategies to encourage her to turn, which worked. I unpacked them all in episode 16. Make sure you check it out. Listen to that episode in full. And then my number 1 most downloaded episode here on Secret Mom Hacks is, drumroll please, Baby Registry Must-Haves 10 New Mom Essentials, episode 15. This episode goes through all of those new mom tips and tricks and tools for your tool belt that, as a new mom, very important items for you to have those first few days at home, the first week, and those first few months that are just going to make things so much easier on you, on your partner, on your baby. please go check out that episode in full, episode 15. These are all the things I wish I'd known about. Okay, let me just say that. So many of these things I learned about on the fly, or I learned about them months later, and I wish I would have known about them months before giving birth because these are items I would have had on my baby registry list if I'd known about them. So that's a wrap for today's show. Make sure you check out today's show notes at secretmomhacks.com/episode 100. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Secret Mom Hacks. I appreciate you spending time with me today and hope you found today's topic helpful. If that's the case, please follow me on your favorite podcast platform if you haven't already. Give me a 5-star rating and leave a review sharing your favorite takeaway so far. You can do all of that by going to ratethispodcast.com/secretmomhacks. Don't forget to stop by secretmomhacks.com where you can find resources and enter your email address so every new show is delivered straight to your inbox. Stay tuned for Secret Mom Hacks' next episode to be released January 15th. And until then, you've got this, mama.